Have you ever looked at your dog at just the right moment? Maybe you were talking, maybe you said a word they recognized, maybe you made a strange sound, and they tilted their head to one side, ears lifted, eyes locked on yours, and for just a second, it felt like they were trying to reach across some invisible wall between your two worlds and truly understand you. Most people laugh when it happens. They grab their phone and take a photo. They call it cute. And it is cute. Impossibly, heartbreakingly cute. But what if that moment meant something far deeper than you've ever been told? What if that simple tilt of the head was one of the most honest and emotionally loaded things your dog ever does? What if, in that one small gesture, your dog was telling you everything? Most dog owners have seen the head tilt hundreds of times, and most of them have never once stopped to ask why. Not really. They accept it as a charming quirk, like the way dogs spin before lying down or the way they kick grass after going to the bathroom. Just one of those dog things. But scientists, animal behaviorists, and researchers who have spent years studying the minds of dogs have uncovered something that completely changes the way we should interpret that moment. And once you understand what's really happening when your dog tilts their head, you will never look at your dog the same way again. Let's start with the science, because the science alone is already remarkable. Dogs have a completely different relationship with sound than we do. Their ears are architectural marvels. Some breeds have ears that can rotate independently, like small radar dishes, scanning the environment for information. When a dog tilts their head, they are physically repositioning those ears to better triangulate where a sound is coming from and to catch frequencies that their current ear position might be missing. Think about that for a moment. Your dog isn't just reacting to something cute. They are actively, physically reconfiguring their body to hear you more clearly. They are leaning in. They are trying harder. And that effort, that small, involuntary act of trying harder, is one of the most touching things any living creature can do for another. But the sound explanation, as fascinating as it is, only tells part of the story. Because researchers noticed something interesting when they studied the head tilt more closely. Dogs don't tilt their heads for every sound. They don't tilt when a car backfires or when a door slams. They tilt most often, most dramatically, and most consistently when they are listening to a human voice. Specifically, a human voice they know, a voice they love. And the tilt becomes even more pronounced when that voice uses words the dog has learned to associate with meaning. Words like walk or treat or their own name. What this tells us is that the head tilt isn't just about acoustics. It's about attention. It's about emotional investment. Your dog tilts their head because you matter to them, and they are trying, with everything they have, to understand you. There is a researcher named Dr. Stanley Coren, a psychologist and dog behavior expert who has studied canine cognition for decades, and his work revealed something that should stop every dog owner in their tracks. Dogs that are more emotionally bonded to their owners tilt their heads more frequently. It's not random. It's not arbitrary. The dogs who love you most are the ones who are working hardest to decode you, to understand your words, your tone, your intentions. Every head tilt is a small act of devotion dressed up as curiosity. Now here is the part that most owners completely miss. When your dog tilts their head, they are also doing something with their eyes that changes everything about the moment. Dogs, unlike almost any other non-human animal, have evolved to read human facial expressions. They study our faces the way we study theirs. And here's the fascinating part. When a dog with a longer snout tilts their head to one side, it actually improves their visual field. It moves that long nose out of the way so they can see more of your face clearly. They are tilting their head not only to hear you better, but to see you better, to read your expression, to look at your eyes and your mouth and understand not just what you're saying, but how you're feeling when you say it. Let that sink in for a moment. Your dog looks at your face and wants to understand your emotions. They have spent thousands of years of evolution developing this ability, this deeply wired need to connect with you, to read you, to know you. And the head tilt is one of the most visible signs of that ancient, extraordinary bond at work. When your dog tilts their head and looks at your face, they are not just a pet looking at an owner. They are a creature who has dedicated their entire existence to understanding yours. But there is something else happening in that moment that goes even deeper, and this is the part that genuinely moves people when they truly understand it. When your dog tilts their head, their brain is doing something remarkable. They are processing language. Not in the full complex way humans do, but in a way that is far more sophisticated than we once believed. Scientists at Yavuz University in Hungary conducted a landmark study in which they placed dogs inside brain scanners and played recordings of their owners' voices using different words and different tones. What they found shook the scientific world. Dogs process words and tones separately, just like humans do. They use the left side of their brain for language and the right side for emotional tone. And a word of praise only registers as genuinely rewarding when both the word and the tone match. Your dog doesn't just hear the sound of your voice. They are parsing your words. They are analyzing your tone. They are putting them together to build meaning. And the head tilt? That is the physical expression of that mental effort happening in real time. This is why you will often notice your dog tilting their head right before they do something, right before they run to the door, or look for their leash, or search for their ball. They tilted because they caught a word, a sound, a meaning, and now they are acting on it. The head tilt is the moment between hearing and understanding. It is the moment your dog's mind is working at full speed, fully focused, completely dedicated to you. And there is one more layer to this that people almost never talk about: the emotional vulnerability of the head tilt. Think about what a dog is doing physically in that moment. They are exposing the side of their neck. They are lowering one ear. They are opening their face toward you in a posture of complete openness. In the animal world, vulnerability is not given freely. It is earned. It is a sign of deep trust. When your dog tilts their head and looks at you with those wide, searching eyes, they are not just trying to understand you. They are showing you that they trust you completely, that they feel safe with you, that you are their whole world, and they want to understand every word of it. Some dogs do this more than others, and that variance itself is meaningful. Breeds that are more socially attuned, breeds that have been developed over generations to work closely with humans, to read human emotions, to respond to human cues, tend to tilt their heads more. Dogs who are more bonded with their owners tilt more. Dogs who have been talked to more, engaged with more, treated as companions rather than property. Those dogs tilt their heads and look at your face with an intensity that can feel almost human. Because in a very real sense, that attentiveness is a product of relationship. You built that. Every time you talked to your dog, every time you sat with them and explained your day, every time you said their name and watched their ears lift, you were feeding that connection. You were making yourself more important to them, and they were working harder to understand you because of it. So the next time your dog tilts their head, don't just reach for your camera. Take 1 second, just one, to really look at them. Look at the way their eyes are fixed on your face. Look at the effort in that small, tilted posture. Look at the trust. Because what you are looking at is the result of thousands of years of evolution, of a species that chose to walk alongside ours, to sleep in our homes, to learn our words and read our faces and map the emotional landscapes of our lives. What you are looking at is an animal that, in this moment, wants nothing more than to understand you. Not because they have to, not because they were trained to, but because somewhere deep in the wiring of their extraordinary minds, you became the most important thing in their world, and they have been trying to understand you ever since. That head tilt isn't just a cute trick. It isn't just a quirk. It is your dog reaching toward you across the only gap that exists between you, the gap of language, and doing everything in their power to close it. It is them saying, without words, that you are worth listening to, that you are worth seeing clearly, that you are worth understanding. And if you ask me, there is nothing more beautiful than that. That's all for today on Petzen. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our next upload.